Hey guys, welcome back to some more F1 2017 and part 7 of our Renault career mode in Season 1, and today we have the Spanish Grand Prix. But before we get into it, I just want to show you the laptop and what I plan to do with the resource points. I'm hoping to get enough today in practice so that we can basically upgrade the engine, because I think that's what's hurting us at the moment. And I think spending 1,000 points on that would be a good idea. It would be very annoying if it failed. So I am quite tempted to go for this thing here, the quality control thing. So I don't know what to do. I think we'll risk it. We'll risk it for a biscuit and do it, but there's obviously 1,000 resource points at stake, and considering we haven't really got that many or had that many this season, that would be a risk. But now I'll hand over to the qualifying report with whoever. Sorry I didn't add that little bit on.
Qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix would turn out to be fairly ineffective, with most of the grid incurring penalties for changing parts. After all the penalties, Hanaud would start last in the Renault, with teammate Hulkenberg not taking a penalty and qualifying an amazing P3. The Sabres this time didn't take up the last row, but rather the third row, with Pascal Wehrlein starting in 5th and his teammate Marcus Ericsson in 6th. Toro Rosso had a bad day, with Sainz starting 19th and Kvyat in 17th, with Alonso between them in 18th and his teammate Van Dorn in 9th. Starting alongside Daniel Ricciardo in P10 and his Red Bull teammate Verstappen behind in 11th. Esteban Ocon only qualified 16th, but Sergio Perez's teammate without any penalties got P4. Roman Grosjean starts 15th with Kevin Magnussen 2 places above him 13th, with Stroll starting in between the two. His teammate Massa starts in 12th, above Magnussen. Lewis Hamilton takes P8, starting alongside Vettel in P7, but the two Finns take the front row, with Raikkonen beating Bottas to effective pole by 3 tenths. So, for an intense race with drivers in unfamiliar positions, let's now go to Anthony Davidson and Crofty in the commentary box.
They together will be taking you through all the action of this Spanish Grand Prix. It can be hard for the cars to follow each other closely here due to the dirty air coming off the car in front. So perhaps we're looking at a more strategic Grand Prix, Ant. What do you think on that?
I'm not too sure about that, Crofty. I mean, yes, as you say, it's hard to follow around here, but if you're brave on the brakes, you can get the job done down into turn 1, which is a medium-speed corner, so you have to be committed. And looking down at this grid today, I think we're going to see 1 or 2 drivers making a move from a long way back, maybe try to force their opponent into a mistake. I don't think this is a race that's going to be purely decided in the pit stops.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Kimi Raikkonen's perfect lap yesterday sees him start from pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hulkenberg, Perez, Pascal Wehrlein and Ericsson, Vettel, Hamilton, Van Dorn and Daniel Ricciardo, Verstappen, Massa, Kevin Magnussen and Stroll, Grosjean, Ocon, Daniel Kvyat and Fernando Alonso. Sainz and a Renault rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I'm sure we won't let you down, Jeff. Now this is something a little bit different. It's an actual post-commentary of the race, because mi Elgato for some reason switched which mic to use, and that mic's muted for obvious reasons, so I don't have 2 things recording at the same time. But that means I now have to commentate on the race. Yeah, welcome back. As you've seen, I guess, over half the field actually had gearbox penalties, and we qualified a brilliant 6th. It was such a good lap. But we dropped to the back of the field because we changed the gearbox at the start of the weekend, and because we usually qualify in about 13th, I thought, well, we'll be starting about 18th on the grid, so another couple of places won't mind. So I took a completely new power unit to help us out throughout the season, and now I kind of regret that, because we would have started P3 alongside Nico Hulkenberg, which would have been a great start. As you can see, there's a strategy on the screen, obviously a one-stop We're not going to underfuel the car or anything, so let's get on to the formation lap. I don't think I'm keeping much of the formation lap in there. We should be fine. 20th place on the grid, mixed up field. It should be a lot of fun in this Grand Prix. Obviously I know what happens, so this is definitely something a little bit different. Big shout out to Toby for doing the qualifying report. I know it takes a little bit of time, and I really appreciate the time that you put into the videos, so thank you very much. His channel is always down in the description and on my homepage. Go and check him out. It would be great if we could get him past 250 subs. Check out his F1 content as well. It's absolutely brilliant. And a bit of voiceover work from me on there as well. Here we go for the lights. Lights out, away we go here in Barcelona. A pretty bad start for us there, to be quite honest with you. We bogged down a little bit in first gear, just sort of staying safe here. Going up to the first turn as there's a flurry of cars ahead of us, but we do stick it down the inside of the Toro Rossos, but only manage to be ahead of Fernando Alonso out of turn 1. He'll be very disappointed to be at the back at his home Grand Prix, but here we go. We're now going to stick it down the inside of the 2 Toro Rossos as well as Esteban Ocon as we go through the first sector. Although Ocon's still on the outside. Look at this. This is great racing. He pushes us onto the grass. That's unbelievable racing. He's still there on our inside as we go around the outside and have to slot in behind him. And we've now got Kvyat, Sainz absolutely hounding our gearbox. And now we go up the hill towards turn 8. We need to get a good exit from here. We could have probably went a little bit quicker through there. But we have had a good start. We're up to 17th, and now we're having a look down the inside of a few cars as they're going very slowly. Massa's the next car after. Grosjean was side by side going through this turn. Oh, I think we had a little bit of contact there, a little bit of argy-bargy with Grosjean, but we're managing to stay just ahead, and we're up to P15 on this first lap now. This is going to be a hard day. Oh, we go a little bit wide there. I forgot about that little spin. And now we're onto the pit straight. Grosjean in the faster. Haas in a straight line. Will he be able to close in? I think we've got just about enough of a gap. We go into rich mix just for a little bit. And then we're going to go straight back down to standard as we go through this first sector. We're closing in on the veteran Williams driver of Felipe Massa, who's for once behind his teammate Lance Stroll. But we will have a look at him up into this next turn. No, we won't. But we set a purple first sector, as everybody does, unless you go incredibly slowly on the second lap. We might have a look down the inside here. We do. This is going to be tight. Oh, this is great racing. Wheel side by side, wheel to wheel action, and we slot in front of Felipe Massa, and we're now up to 14th place. So great start. We've got Van Dorn ahead of Stroll, so we should be able to make some inroads on this next straight, with the McLaren being about 20 kilometers an hour slower than the Renault in a straight line. And yet again, Stroll and Van Dorn going very slowly into that corner. We have a little lock up as we go into that corner, but we're now up to 13th. Unlucky for some, hopefully not for us. Verline, what's happened to him? He's slowing down. He started P5 on the grid, and now we're up to P11. No, we're not. We're in P12, I beg your pardon. And now surely we're going to overtake Stoffel Van Dorn on this straight. We're not even going to need DRS, even though it becomes enabled on this lap. We're coming right up using the slipstream and going down his inside. That's a good move, and we're past Van Dorn up to 11th now. And now we're having a look at Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, who's disappointingly down in 10th. He started in 11th, I think, so not a good start for him in this Grand Prix so far. He's caught behind the Haas of Kevin Magnussen, and because Magnussen's not much quicker, well, a little bit slower than us on this track, he's allowing us to catch up to Max Verstappen in the sort of sister engine partner, I guess, the faster team with the Renault engine inside. We're going to go through turn 8, hopefully get a good exit off this turn. We've got DRS as well, so this will allow us to catch up to Max Verstappen. We're going to have a little look down the inside here, and we do have a look, and we're side by side with Verstappen, and he comes across and makes contact with us. We throw our hand up in the air in disgust. He sends us wide, around the next turn, and we just have to slot in behind Verstappen and hope that we can get a bit of a run on him through this final section and then onto the pit straight. We're coming through now. That's probably the best we've went through that little sector all weekend. We've now got the DRS enabled. We're closing in on Max Verstappen on this straight. We've got very similar straight line speed, and Max Verstappen himself is going past Kevin Magnussen. He goes down the inside, the side-by-side going into this turn. Ericsson is up in front, so hopefully he'll slow down Verstappen as well. We're having a look at Kevin Magnussen through turn 4. This is really, really close racing. And now we have a look down the inside and easily do it on the brakes. We have got the brake pressure up again this weekend just to help us on the brakes as we go into corners. Verstappen a little bit held up by Ericsson here, so this could be interesting. We're going up towards turn 8. We should be able to make the move on at least Ericsson on this lap. Perhaps Verstappen as well. We've got the DRS once again activated down the back straight. Verstappen having a look down the inside of Ericsson. We get a little bit of a lock up and then very, very close to losing our front wing on Ericsson. Ericsson getting in our way a little bit. He's holding up our progress, and now we've got Magnussen on the inside, I think, but he's backed out of it, and hopefully we'll manage to get Ericsson on this straight. A little bit of a corner cut there, but I think one or two tyres was on the track, so that's fine. We're now closing in on Marcus Ericsson. He's got the DRS as well, but we should be quicker than this Ferrari 2016 engine on the straights. But you can see how much time Max Verstappen has gained through that, just being held up by Ericsson in those last few turns. So we go on to lap 6 now, and we're coming into the pits. We're very, very naughty here and don't go in front of the cone. We would have got a penalty for that in real life, but we're now down to 50 miles an hour. And for some reason I couldn't engage the clutch. I don't know whether that was just a glitch or whether it was a mechanical issue or something like that. But as you can see, we're coming into the pits now, and it tells us to hold the clutch. I'm pressing R2, and there you see it there. I had it held and then it came off, but anyway, we only lost about a second there, and yeah, we're away in 17th place, but looking good for some points. And as you can see, we go much further into the race here, lap 13, and we've got our teammate Nico Hulkenberg ahead, side by side with Max Verstappen. That's how long we've been sticking with Verstappen, but Hulkenberg has been beaten by Verstappen, and now we're closing in on Hulkenberg. It's took us to the last lap, but we have been taking chunks of time out of him. I don't know whether Hulkenberg has just got some engine wear or something like that that's hindering his performance, but we are closing right in on him now. This is probably our last chance on this straight. We're right behind him. We need a perfect exit. We get that perfect exit, and we've got the DRS wide open. And here we go, we're having a look down the inside, we're going to dive bomb. Oh, this is close racing. We'd go down the inside and maybe push Hulkenberg a little bit wide there. Ocon's out of the race. Let us know down in the comments whether you think that was a fair move. You know, we kept it clean, we didn't make contact, and we've just made the position on Nico Hulkenberg. We've locked up and absolutely butcher those last couple of turns, so it means now that Nico Hulkenberg's right behind us as we run to the line, and we've run out of fuel as well. Oh, we're very, very lucky that it's not the second line that we have to finish the race on. Hulkenberg off into the distance now, but we do finish the race in 8th place. And that's a brilliant performance from the back of the grid. Remember, another 4 points to add to our World Championship tally. Oh, what a race that was, and I'm so frustrated you didn't get any live reactions to it. But let's hear David Croft and Anthony Davidson talk about their thoughts on today's proceedings.
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a good result for Kimi Raikkonen, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
It's a difficult one, but I'll have to go for the Renault driver. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
On to the constructors then. Ferrari extend their lead at the top of the championship. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.
So there you have it then. That is the 2017 Spanish Grand Prix. Kimi Raikkonen won the race with Valtteri Bottas in second. And I think Vettel finished in third with Hamilton in fourth. What does that do for the standings? And you can see I clicked the wrong button, so let's go down to the standings again. Kimi Raikkonen leads the way, 32 points ahead of Hamilton and Bottas. Vettel in fourth. We're in 8th place at the moment with our teammate Nico Hulkenberg in 11th. Massa moving above Carlos Sainz, the only change in the top 10 there. Will I go on to the constructor standings? There you go. We are in 5th place, a couple of points behind Force India, and Ferrari leading the way ahead of Mercedes by 24 points. So that is going to be where we leave this episode. We're not going to do any R&D. I'm basically going to tell you that we took the powertrain update, and hopefully we'll manage to have that in place for the next round in Monaco, which is surely going to be not fun for me because, yeah, I'm probably going to crash. It's going to be our first DNF of the season. I'm going to be really sad. But yeah, if you've enjoyed that, make sure you leave a like down below. It really does mean a lot for me and for the channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching and goodbye.